Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So this week I wanted to kind of sit down and answer a question that I get a lot while I'm while I'm at work or just like hanging out with friends. There's one question that comes across to, and I think Anna gets asked this too, but I get asked it a lot, especially while I'm at work, when people find out that we go to Disney World so much. And that question is, why do we love Disney World so much? So for me, I feel like that answer should be pretty obvious, but I'm going to actually just do a short video here to answer it anyway. But before I get started, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy this video, make sure you give us a like and a comment and let us know how we're doing. So why do we love, well, I guess I can speak for me, not necessarily for Anna. Maybe I'll ask her about it in a video sometime. But for me, why do I love going to Disney World so much? So for me, this answer is, it's both complicated and simple. It's simple in that, like, for me, there's really no thinking about, like, I never really have to think about, like, why I love Disney World. I just do. But it's more complicated in that there are reasons that I love Disney World. There are things that made me fall in love with Disney World. So when I was there 17 years ago, almost exactly 17 years ago, actually. It was, 17 years and a few days ago or something like that. When I was there 17 years ago, and I still have a pretty vivid memory of some of the things that we did, but it was at a point in my life when, I was 11 years old, and yes, I loved it, but I was also, like, scared of everything at the time. It wasn't until our first trip back in October of 2018, when Aiden was 3 weeks old, that I absolutely fell in love with the parks, and that was just like all I wanted to do, and it was Anna's first trip too. I think that had a little bit to help with it, but there's a couple of things that made me absolutely just fall in love with the parks and just want to go to the parks every day, and like, because I wish I could just go every day. I really do. One of the things is the level of magic in the parks is just absolutely, and this pertains to, like, the characters, because, like, if you watch the little kids, they don't have the knowledge at that point when they're that little to know, like we do as adults, that that's not actually Goofy, that's not actually Mickey, but there's still that magic, there's that magic there, that's Mickey. They're meeting Mickey Mouse. Like, for us as adults, that's like meeting, Jennifer Lawrence or Robert Downey Jr. or some, big name celebrity. That's what it's like for them. They're meeting their favorite characters, whether that's Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse or Vampirina or Fancy Nancy or whoever, Woody or Buzz or whoever that happens to be. That is who that is to them. It's like meeting a celebrity. And there's that level of magic there. And then the magic of, like, in Magic Kingdom, they have the show every day, multiple times a day at the castle. And the level of magic from that, like, they're getting to watch their favorite characters on stage doing a performance like that, and it's just so magical for them. And I think for me, one of the reasons that I absolutely fell in love with it again is from the second and third trips that we took in April and September of 2019. Seeing Aiden's reaction to the characters, seeing his reaction to the magic around him. And it was just so amazing. Another reason that I really like the parks is that they are just so much fun. There is so much to do there. Even if you've been there multiple times like we have, there is still so much to do there. There's so much that you haven't done. If you're somebody who's been to Disney World multiple times, I guarantee you there is something that you have not done yet. I didn't even know there was mini golf courses there at Disney World on Disney property until right before our first trip in 2018. I didn't know they were there. There's a Fantasia golf course or mini golf course that we actually walked past on our last trip because it's close to the Swan and Dolphin. And there's the Winter Summerland. It's over by the Blizzard Beach Water Park. I didn't know those were there. So there's always something new that you're going to find, especially with how much they're updating right now. There's going to be something new. They're constantly trying to do things like add new rides or redo the resorts to make them look nicer and things like that. They're adding new restaurants. You know, now they have Takumi Tei in the Japan Pavilion at Epcot that just opened up, like, I think 6 months ago is when it actually opened. They have a new restaurant opening in Epcot here pretty soon. Well, it was slated to open here pretty soon, but obviously the parks are still closed at this point while I'm recording. And so they're always adding new things. So there's always something new, even if you've been there numerous times. And especially if you do things like looking for hidden Mickeys and stuff like that, there is always going to be something. You'll always find a new hidden Mickey somewhere or something like that. So, I think one of the other things for me is just, even with as stressful as Disney World can be when you are going there for a vacation, it is still one of the most relaxing places I've been. Just simply because there is just so much there that, like, you can go on, like, the boat rides and just kind of relax and look around. There's a lot of places to just sit and take in all of the magic around you. You know, things like that. And so, like, just, it's really, really hard to describe the exact reason that I absolutely love going to Disney World. All I can tell you is that I do. I absolutely love it. I would not trade it for anything. Like, if you gave me the choice of having quite honestly, if you gave me the choice of having, you know, $100,000 a year career, or going to Disney World 2, 3, 4 times a year, I would pick Disney World every time, because that is how much I love Disney World. And I mean, that might seem kind of weird because with a $100,000 a year career, you could probably go that often, but it's like, for me, what if you can't, you know, get time off from work to go down there? Like, maybe you can only get time off once a year and only for a few days to go down or something like that. Like, that's how I kind of look at it. I would rather be able to go 4 times a year and have a job that pays less but lets me go down to Disney World 4 times a year than have a job that pays more but I can only go maybe once a year. I would rather have that, because it is just, for both Anna, I know I can speak for Anna on this part, for both Anna and I, that is our happy place. Disney is our happy place. When we're feeling really down, really depressed, or anything like that, Disney World can bring us out of that. You know, before we went to to Disney World in September, about 2 weeks, 2 to 2.5 weeks before we went to Disney World in September, we had to put our dog down. Our dog, Dudley. For those of you who don't know, we had a bulldog named Dudley, and we had to put him down about 2.5 weeks before we went to Disney World, and it was really hard. We absolutely loved that dog. We'd only had him for a couple of years, but we absolutely loved him, and it was super hard. And then a couple weeks later, we went to Disney World. We were still pretty sad about losing Dudley, but then we went to Disney World, and it made us feel so much better. It made us so happy. So that's one of the big things. That's our happy place. That place, even with as stressful and busy and crowded as it is, it makes us extremely happy. And I think that's one of the big things for me. So yeah, I kind of hope this answered. I know that it, like I said, it should have been a fairly obvious answer, but I just kind of wanted to, go over it. I felt like it was something that I should talk about. So thank you all for joining me this week. I hope to see you all again next week. I don't have anything planned out for next week yet, so we'll have to just see where it takes us. But until then, as always, don't forget to thank the Phoenicians.